What's happening all? How's everyone doing? Welcome in to another live lesson. Hope everybody is very well. If you're from the UK, enjoying the thunderstorms, we'll have a little chat for a moment. We'll let everyone drop in. So tonight, if you've got any comments, have a little chat, you want to talk about anything, type it in. Comes up on my little feed on the screen over here. Just give me 2 seconds. Press one button on the PC and we'll get everyone started. So, do I need that? Nah, let's switch that off. Okay, awesome. Right then, so welcome back into another 6-week Marching Drummers Challenge show, let's call it. So, my name's Geoff, if you don't know, if it's the first time you're dropping in. So, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to be doing lessons, some interviews, a lot of lessons going on to YouTube, and a lot of discussion over in our group, the Marching Drummers Lounge. And basically, I'm a professional musician in the UK. I'm on lockdown at the moment, and there's not many gigs or anything going on. So I thought I'd do a little something, and we'd set up these lessons. And the idea is it's going to be drum course style, marching drums being taught for the next 6 weeks. Now we've got a bit of a schedule we're working towards. So we've got Wednesdays 7 o'clock, and we've got Saturdays at about 2 o'clock. We got a little group that is our own little group. So Marching Drummers Lounge. If you enjoy this today and you want to be part of it, get yourselves in there. The notation from today's lesson will be put in there, and amongst various other things. So Coach just said play 95 tenor feature. I've got some tenors actually, but we're not doing tenors at the moment. Maybe I'll get some tenors out at some point. We'll see. Okay, so our first session. So if you weren't here for the first session we talked all about setting up for effective and efficient practice. And so today we're going to move on a little bit from that. We're going to talk today about efficient, effective practice routines. So we're going to talk a little bit about what to play rather than what you need. Now, the lesson format tends to be about 30 to 40 minutes. The first one went a little bit longer, but I'm going to try and keep it to about 30-40 minutes of actual lesson content. And at the end, we'll have about 10 to 15 minutes of what we're calling the drum hang, which is basically where I'll do some playing on here. If you guys are sat there with a pad and sticks, join in, and we'll basically go through a warm-up or practice routine. Now, this routine is going to start from pretty simple all the way over the next 6 weeks to get more and more complex. And through that little drum hang, I'm going to make it so that when I'm playing something really difficult, if you're a beginner, you'll still be able to play an easy version of it, but I'll be sort of verbally telling some of the more advanced guys I'll try doing this. Now, today's lesson is going to be a similar kind of format. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be teaching stuff at quite a basic level, so beginners can get this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, for you advanced guys, try doing this or try doing that. Like I said, if you've got any questions, type in, let us know where you're from, let us know if I'm going too fast, if you can't hear me, or if I forget to move the music off the screen. We're going to have the music on the screen like that tonight. Then type it on there. I'll have a quick glance over, and we'll fix things. So the big takes, I think, hopefully for you guys from the first lesson then, were one, how to set up for your practice area. So we talked about getting the right equipment, having a mirror. Anyone got a mirror yet? You really need a mirror. And we also spoke about the practice routine that you're often going to see DCI, WGI, the elite lines doing. And what we said was that most of the stuff that marching drummers do can be broken into 4 sections. Right? Most, there's a few odd things, but most, which is going to be singles, which will be things like we did last week with the Blue Devils kind of eights warm up. So this kind of motion, turning it into singles. Doubles, so we spoke last week about double beat, turning into rolls. Flams, so last week we spoke about the crown warm-up. Well, today we're going to be looking more at accents and taps. So the accents and taps are going to be, to be able to do that, we've got to learn 4 stroke types, all right? So we've got a little bit of kind of theory to be able to get into this. Then we're going to have a look at some lines, accent tap exercises. Now, the theory we need to know are the 4 stroke types. So on drums, and I didn't learn this, weirdly, I marched DCI, and no one ever mentioned this when I marched until I got back and started learning drum kit, and I had some lessons, Moella lessons actually, with Jim Chapin. That's the first time I ever heard about stroke types. It seems to be more of a normal thing these days. So the 4 stroke types are this. We've got a full stroke, where we start with the stick up here, and the stick comes all the way back up. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about technique today. There's a video on YouTube all about technique, and if you've got any questions, though, about technique, ask. But otherwise, I'm just going to keep pushing through this, all right? So we've got stick starting up in the air, hits the drum, bounces back up into the air. That's a full stroke. We've got a downstroke, where we start with the stick up in the air, we hit the drum. As soon as it hits the drum, we stop it real low. So hit the drum, stop it low. hit the drum, stop it low. Same with left hand, start with it up in the air, hit the drum, and low. Start in the air, and low. So full stroke, and that one's a downstroke, alright? The next one is a tap stroke. Well, taps are fairly obvious. What does it sound like? You tippy tapping, well, that's what you're doing. So you're starting low, tapping the drum, and you're ending low. Now you can get really into technique and go way over the top of this and say, well, that's a full stroke, but a little one. Oh no, it's not. It's a wrist stroke and all this stuff, right? Don't worry too much about that stuff at the moment. It's just a tap of the drum. We can overanalyze sometimes technique. Right, the hardest one, I think, though, is where we tap the drum and we pull up. Jason Ray's just said, have you ever been to Andy? No, I don't know that name. No, I don't know if he asks that because of what I mentioned with Moella stuff. Don't know. No, so I had lessons with Jim Chapin when he used to come over to Stafford. Some drum instructor used to bring him over to there, and I kind of learned some stuff from him. Right, so, and the final one is upstroke, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to tap the drum, and then once we've tapped it, we're going to kind of pull the stick up quickly. Now, I've got a lesson actually on stroke types on YouTube, right? So I'm pushing through this quite quick tonight because I want to get to the exercises. It's really important that you master these. So if you've never done this stuff before, go watch the YouTube lesson after this, right? Don't just leave us right now. We're competing with Premier League football tonight, so I got to keep people on here. But after, go and watch. So we're tapping the drum, and we're pulling up. I kind of think of it as like, that's my finger, and I'm dipping it into, say, I don't know, some water. I'm trying not to make any ripples, so lightly touching it and then whipping it out really quickly. Or it's touching a hot plate, and it's like, ooh. Right, so we've got full strokes, right? Full stroke, downstroke, a tap, and upstroke. Well, everything you play on drums, you can break up with accents and taps anyway into these 4 stroke types, right? We're not talking about using arms and all that stuff at the moment. It's just basic strokes. Full stroke, downstroke, tap, up. Make sense? Everyone with me at the moment? Right, so let's have a look at an exercise. So we're going to talk tonight about doing accents and taps, and we're going to use cadets tonight, example. So accents and tap exercises can sometimes get quite complex to learn. Now, I don't want to spend an hour now teaching you one really complex exercise when I can teach you a simple one that's got the same results and move on to something else. So we're going to look at cadets. Hey. So let me know if you can hear that. Someone just give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound. Okay, someone let me know. Can you hear the sound on that? I hope you can. Otherwise, I'm going to have to play it through the speakers. Right, so that was the cadets, right? DCI core, elite line. That's the exercise they did. This is the one we're going to look at doing. Now, I'm going to leave it on that size for a moment. I know it's quite small for you guys watching on a phone, but it's real simple. This is I can teach you this in a couple of minutes without the music, right? We're playing 4 accents, 4 loud beats, right? Hit the drum loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 quiet ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We do that 4 times in a row, right? Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So second one, third one, simple, isn't it? Fourth one. Right, then we play the same thing, but instead of doing 4, we do 3. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Guess what's next? 2s. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Well, that's 4 of each. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then the last one, there's 8 actually, but they're just 1. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and. So I'll play you the video again, see if you can follow along. I know it's a bit of a shaky camera, but we've got 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, and on, alright? Here we go. Hey! Okay, so let me get a screen I think I'm going to leave it on that screen, right? So if that's tiny for anybody, let me know and I can change to the screen, but I think you'd be better off seeing me tonight. Okay, so fairly simple exercise, yeah? So we've got, let's try playing it together. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, tap, 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 tap. Second one, tap, 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 tap. Third one, and fourth one. Now threes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Twos. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to change to the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third one. And the fourth one. Threes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Third one. Fourth one. Twos. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then that'll be the end. We'll play a release and we'll count it back in. So what do I want you to get from this, right? It's a simple idea, right? Simple exercise. What I need you to be able to do now is to be able to go back to what we learned a moment ago with the stroke types and start to figure out what stroke types sit where on what of those notes. And that's what's going to make you then be able to play it and look as good as they looked when they played it. So let's type it on here real quick, right? So that first one is going to be a full stroke. Next one's going to be a full stroke, full stroke. Well, this fourth one is a downstroke though. So the first four notes go full, 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 down. So we've got to be stopping it about an inch off the head. Full, 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 down. Make sure you can do that. We don't want this. Full, 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 bounce up a little bit. We want it full, 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 down. Tick your left hand. Full, 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 down. Right, then we've got tap, tap, tap. And what's the last one? Well, it needs to get back in a position to whack it again. So it's going to be an up. So we get with this one then. Oops, have I pressed the one button there? Yep, there we go. Now, I know that's tiny on your screen, right? We're not going to go through the whole thing like that. You don't need to be able to get it all. So we've got full, 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 down, tap, 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 up. Now try that nice and slow again. Here we go. Full, 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 down, tap, 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 up. And again, full, 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 down, tap, 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 up. Let's try it with the left hand then. So start with it, stick in the air. Full, 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 down, tap, 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 up. Again, full, 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 down, tap, 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 up. Now you can go through the whole exercise like that. So if we jump to the twos, the second line that you can see there, look, we've got full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up. And the same with the left hand. Full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up, full, down, tap, up. Okay? Jason just said, so full strokes are just big taps, up and down strokes are like an elevator between them. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, Jason, I would agree with you, but sometimes some teachers won't teach it like that. So some lines will play taps really strong, almost from the wrist, and some big stuff. But I think what's generally happened these days is people are starting to realise that if everything's nice and loose and relaxed, the taps are the same motion, whatever height we play it, we're just pulling a little bit higher. So yeah, so the full strokes are a full rebound, like an elevator, down all the way up. The tap is just a little elevator, that's what he's saying. I agree with him. Spot on. Exactly the same motion there as there. Now, back when I marched, it was a little bit more like really pounding those quiet ones. So when we played accents and I saw something the other day actually interesting. So PS did an interview with Roger Carter, right? Drum corps legend, right? So Roger Carter was marched with me, right? And back when we marched, the taps were literally, we used to play this exercise that went like this. And the taps were really played through the head, so the taps were like this. As opposed to how he was actually talking about in this video I saw a couple of days ago, where he was actually saying he likes the difference in tone now between loud taps like this and quiet ones like this. And it does, he was right, he said it's a higher pitch, and so it's a loose sound, a quiet sound. So I would say that over the years, drummers have actually play a lot softer now. So taps are now a little bit, now that means you've got to be careful when I say soft, right? Because I don't want you to now be all like this. But we don't want to be smashing those out, all right? Okay, right, anyway, so let's keep moving forward, right? So that exercise then, let's try playing the whole thing. How would you practice that? Well, if I put on a metronome, I want it pretty slow, and I want it to be sort of telling me exactly whether I'm in time. So that's 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, Okay, everyone with me at the moment? We have any questions? So Jason just said, yeah, I did. I marched with Roger Carter. So Roger Carter was set and snare when I marched. Okay, right, where are we going with this then? So I had another example. So one of the things I wanted to get across to you was that this, so new guys who were sort of quite new to drum corps, that isn't the only exercise of accent taps you can do. You can make up any pattern you want. Now these accent patterns that we're doing here, this isn't the be all and end all. This is just getting one hand good and the other hand good, so that eventually we can start to play patterns where we put both together to get. And so that's our next step, right? The logical step now is to go from putting one hand and pressing the other hand. Once we get good at that, go to the next step. To show you though how you might get an easier exercise that does the same job. Hey! Okay, infinity here. So these exercises so far, this ain't the stuff that your friends are going to come around, are they, and show off, check out my accent taps. Right, but these are the fundamentals that allow you to then be able to play the difficult stuff that we're going to get to well and correctly to be able to show off to your mates. Right, let's move on from this one, all right? So you get the idea, right? What I'd like everyone to try and do is to learn that exercise. We'll talk about speed a little bit later, right? I'm going to push through this one, though. Have we got any questions at the moment? It's real quiet tonight on the feed. I get worried when it's quiet. Right, I'm going to show you some musical ways of playing some accents and taps next then. Now, to play accents and taps, there's lots of ways. I could give you 50 sheets with different patterns written on, and you could have to go and learn every single one, going like, well, there's one. What about this one? There's another. What about this one? And the problem is, well, not the problem, I mean, that is one method of doing it. You get sheets and sheets and sheets. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do it in a slightly more musical way. So when you start playing in drum corps, or especially if you're writing for drum corps, one of the things that you do is you write parts based on the music. So if a tune is going da 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 da, one of the options, right, because other options as well, might be to go on the snare drum. So you might, or any drum, right, you might hit the accents the band are doing, right? And if you look what's on the screen at the moment, this is from the Ted Reed book. So I use the Ted Reed book all the time for kit drumming, and I'm starting using it more and more for the marching stuff. So you can see on here, it's called Syncopation for the Modern Drummer. You probably can't see it very well from there, and it's ironic because it's about as modern as, well, it's not very modern. All right, so that page that you can see on there is basically the foot that's taken from that. And so what we've got there is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 written on the left-hand side. Now it's got bass drums written there, right, like a kit player would play. We haven't got a kit here, but what we're going to do is that's going to be us marking time, or that could be the metronome. So all we do is you go to the second line and we read that. So when I put a metronome in a moment, we're going to play ba 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 ba. But what we're going to do is we're going to play 16th notes around these, which is going to give us that pattern there. Fairly obvious, all right? So make sure that you can do this real slow. We're just going to go. For guys who are a little bit more advanced than this, take a different rudiment. So start this with Paradiddles maybe. If you really want to push it, do something like book reports. And work through this with that, all right? Beginners, let's just go for 16th notes, all right? So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, for those guys who are into this stuff, you could sit there and write out every single stroke in there then. So we've got down, tap, up, tap, down, up, tap, tap, down, up, tap. You start to play a little bit like a robot if you think about that too much. So that's the first one, all right? What about that second one then? Well, the second one's got that little squiggle, which is a rest. So now it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Third one, what's that one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So if you were doing book reports on that one, you'd go. So just bring out the accent of the rudiment on the downbeats that are written on the sheet, all right? Is that everyone with me at the moment? So if we look at the bottom one, it's just the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sense? Okay, now where this goes then, where we go with this, we could sit and do that for half an hour now, right? But I'm going to push you a little bit. Is we end up in this book getting these 16 bar exercises. So what's written in this is we've got 16 bars of basically quarter note accents going through. This is more like what you might get in a show. So if we try and sight read that top line, and I put a metronome on it, for those who are new to this, all we're going to do is we're just going to play the notes that are written on there. In fact, I'm just going to hit the drum, right? So we're going to put, let's put Mr. Counter on here. I gave my name last week, didn't I? I forgot his name. Let's put him on.
1, 2.
Well, that's quite slow,
3,
right? But we'll do that, right? So
4,
the first bar, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then rest, play, rest, play. Third bar, play, rest, rest, play, and then play, play, rest, play. So if I play that 16, square, play, loud, 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 quiet, loud, quiet, loud, loud, quiet, quiet, loud, 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 quiet, loud.
1,
Now,
2.
That's the concept right there. So if that went over your head, say, and I'll break it down again, I'm going to go a little bit faster. I'm going to put an eighth note on.
1 and 2 and 3.
So we're going to be playing this.
And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
As our pattern.
1 and 2.
And we'll play it all of A, right?
4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 1
okay, and again, nice job. 3
and
4
and
1
and
2
and
3
and
4
and
1
and
2
and 3 and
4
and
1
and 2 and 3 and
4
and 1 and 2 and 3 and
4
and 1.
Right, so those guys doing paradiddles, so it'll be this.
4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 1 and 2
And
and 1.
it could be anything. You could be playing fives.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1
Sixes,
and 2
paradiddles.
and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 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 and 3.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through each one of those, and we got some fun stuff, all right? So next one down then, letter B. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Left hand lead if you want. 1. Oh, I screwed that up. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll be the end there. So let's try B again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I screwed up the end. Should end on the left, shouldn't I? Right? Let's try C. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone with me at the moment? So, like I said, book reports, if you're playing those crazy things, you're going. So anything that you can do, if you're super advanced, think of something more advanced than what I'm playing, just use that as your melody that's being played. Why do we do this, right? When you're doing a song, a 12-minute marching drum corps song, it starts off as just notes, and there's only so many things that we can remember in our head, right? So we have to think of like paradiddle, 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 bash it, roll, da 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 da, and all this kind of stuff. Eventually, it becomes a tune that we just think of. So the sooner we can get used to presenting our rudiments that we play on the snare drum as music, as you can see on the screen, the better, all right? Make sense? Okay, right, any guys just drop in. So tonight we're looking at accents and taps. It's a 6-week course that we're going to be doing, of lessons we're going to be doing here. We've covered singles, doubles and flams. This is a very important part, the accents. We're going to show how accents can now work with flams in a moment. For anybody who's literally just dropped in, Get yourself over to Marching Drummers Lounge. Make sure you're in that group there. There's lots of stuff in there. Posting extra lessons in there, and I'm posting lots of content in there, including the notes from today. So get yourself in there. It's obviously no cost. It's all free. And get yourself onto Freestyle Rudiments YouTube page, because on there I've got lots of other lessons, as well as the ones we're doing today. This is on there. This will be saved on there. But also there's other lessons on other stuff that relates to this 6 weeks that we're going to be doing. And this is kind of the loose schedule we're working to. Wednesday at 7 and Saturday at 2 o'clock. Now, as I said, we're fighting against the football tonight, so anybody who's not watching the UK, the Premier League starts tonight, so I'm sure most people are going to be... Let's hope they've got this in one corner, Premier League in the other corner, yeah? So it's a bit quiet on the chat, right? But if you do want to ask any questions, type it in now, come up on my feed. I do my best to answer it, right? Sometimes these sessions where there's less people are better because you get more personal experience. If you want to know how to do this, this, and this, ask me now, and I'll tell you, all right? It's a lot better than having to pay for private lesson and have me teach you. Okay, right, so that's accents and taps. Right, Flam accents. So last week we did that crown exercise. So we did this one, didn't we? Remember? Let's play on the drum. We did this. Now the way that I'm getting the definition of those, so these big, is because I've got a good ability to get these accents and taps down. Now how would I get better at playing triplets? So flam accents, flam left, right, flam right, left, flam left, right, flam right, left. Well, same as we did with the accent taps, I work out the one-handed part. So I put my left hand on the drum. Alright, let's say it again. My left hand on the rim, my right hand on the drum, and I listen to what the pattern is. And I hear that pattern. Well, a lot of other people have found this is a good method as well. So there's an exercise created called Flam Accent Taps, or Flam Accent Heights, I think I've called this as well before. Where we've got that pattern going there, look. So if I put a metronome on with this, okay, yeah. So I think there's about 7/8 is there in that. I'll get that one up in a minute, right? So we'll go over that one in a minute and make sure that everyone's got that. Right. So if we have a quick look then on the flam accent. So when people are playing this motion here, right, the way people can play it quick is like hours and hours and hours of practice. But if you see the way it looks, it doesn't change much apart from it's lower. I'm not like this, struggling on this fast, changing my technique. And so this exercise that we're doing here ensures that. Now again, we could talk about the stroke types here. So what am I doing? I'm doing down, tap, tap, up, down, tap, tap, up, down, tap, tap, up. So we can start to think about the stroke types. Then I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I repeat 1. Right, let's put a metronome for this one. We got any football supporters out there? Who's playing tonight? I don't even know. I support Tottenham, so it's completely pointless the rest of this season, so I'm not really paying much of attention. Who's playing? Someone let me know who's playing. Right, so I'm going to set this at 60 beats per minute. I'm going to set it so that it's counting 8th notes. I mean, got 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again. So the second note of the 3 is in line with that beat look. Now. Now make sure that you've got that set position. So when one hand's playing, right, then put the 2 hands together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, 2, 3, flams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, But when I'm playing these, during these 6 weeks, if myself or any other guys who I managed to get to do some teaching play things just too fast for you, don't be shy to type in. I know that I've had people who I do private lessons to who said to me before, I don't really want to type anything in. Don't worry, right? There's no stupid questions. If I'm going way too fast, there's no way of me seeing you to be able to know. So if you were sat in the room with me now, I could straight away see, oh, this is too fast for him, I'll slow it down, or this is too slow for him, I'll speed it up. So keep giving me the feedback, all right? The only way that I can get any feedback at the moment is off whatever you type in on here. So Arsenal playing Man City, that's not even a big game, is it? Okay, so I think what we're probably going to find tonight is a lot of people are going to watch this on the afterwards. So with these lessons, something that will help me a lot, or help you guys a lot as well, because the bigger community we get, the better, is if when you watch these, if you can just press the like button, Facebook then feeds it out to more people. If you share it on your feed, Facebook shares it out to more people. So basically, the more comments that you get in here, the more times people press like, the more times it's shared, the more other people are going to come in and come and hang out with us, all right? Okay. Right, so where are we going next? So, chugga-da, 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 chugga-da. Okay, yeah, so I just want to talk a little bit about speed. So when I'm playing that fast, I'm basically just trying to keep all of those little low notes around about this high off the head. If I can keep them down there, then I know I can get the speed. If I want to play, if I can't play any faster than that, I just work one hand for ages. My left's going to be the weak one, so I just sit and practice that. I'd literally sit and watch Arsenal Man City, not now, right, but tomorrow on replay, and I'd literally sit there for 45 minutes and go. To get those notes out, I'm basically using a lot of my thumb. So in this hand, I'm using some of the fingers. On this hand, I'm using the thumb. So if I get the shot from above. So my thumb here is doing the 3. With a little bit of help from that first finger. Let me get that shot there. So a little bit of this and a lot of that thumb playing that 3. So I'm going a lot of that motion, but a little bit of the finger helping to get those 3s out. Okay, so we had a question, yeah, about the other exercise that we did. So let's have a quick look at that. So the crown flam exercise that we did last time. Let's see if I can get a different view. Okay, so the top 2 lines that you can see there. Look. So what Paul was saying is it gets confusing, or he messed up, or it just screwed up, right? That's where you make a mess up on the 7/8 bar. And I think that's probably the same for most people. The chubba da chubba da cha cha chubba da chubba da cha cha is fairly simple. Oh, come on, mouse, don't move again, please. I said I'd buy a new mouse, didn't I, before today, and I still haven't. Right, if I put this down, it moves. I'm gonna be mad. Right. So yeah, there's an old version that I'm similar, but I learned the Blue Devils version of this called Blue Devils Flams. It goes like this. Right, but this, so it's a slight variation. So that's 7 bar, what I think of in there. I think of that little first part, chubba-da, 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 and that's all for me, one section, right, in my head, right? So I'm going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and this little 7 counts then that's thrown in there, the 2 flam taps and the left-handed one, that's the bit I would sit and practice on its own. So the so flam tap, and flam triplet, flam tap, and triplet, flam tap, and triplet. So anyone who's struggling with that bit, just sit and practice that. How many notes is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once you've mastered that as a chunk. So I got obsessed after doing drum corps. I still am obsessed with this, right? I started doing a lot of teaching on kit, and I started reading a lot of books. And I never read a book in my life, right? I never used to read books. I started reading a lot of books, and I got into a lot of books on psychology and neuroscience. So how the brain works and sort of the psychology behind that, right? And one of the things that all scientists talk about is this idea of chunking. So the way that we humans learn things is we learn small chunks, and then eventually, imagine like Lego bricks, right? So we learn lots of little Lego bricks, and then what we do is we stick those 2 Lego bricks together, and that becomes one chunk, and then we stick another 2 together, and eventually that chunk gets bigger and bigger. So if you think about your phone number at the moment, 07654 whatever your phone number is, to start with, that was 7 or 9, however many you've got separate numbers, and eventually it's like, so for me, 07958, that's just a chunk now, 07958, and it's similar to this. So once you start to learn something like this, that's now a chunk for me. Well, you've got to think of everything that you do in drumming in the same way. Everything's a chunk. This is a chunk now. Whereas before, at one point, it was flam, left, right, left, or what's next? Flam, flam. All right? So these chunks you've got to give them time to kind of be made in your head. Now, some people, they make chunks fast, right? When you're a kid, you learn faster. I ain't going to go too deep in this stuff, right? But there's this stuff called myelin, and it basically means that when you're a kid, you learn quicker than when you're 60 upwards, all right? But you still learn when you're 60 upwards. It's just maybe not as fast as a young kid does. Well, when we learn these patterns, we've still got to do it hundreds of times. Even a little kid's not going to remember that. This part. With a lot of effort, all right? We've got any other questions at the moment? So we're coming towards the end of the main part of the lesson at the moment. So if I just sort of sum things up at the moment then. So today's lesson, we're talking about something that's a bit dull, in honesty, right? Accents and taps. So we're talking about loud notes and quiets. We spoke about the stroke types. So we've got downs, we've got full strokes, we've got taps, we've got upstrokes. Now, anything that you're struggling with, you can go through and figure out every single one. You could go through Blue Coat's whole opener and figure every single note out, whether it's an up or a down, and play it perfect. The problem is that is too much processing for us to do in our head. So what we have to do is take little simple exercises like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and teach ourselves to do down, tap, tap, up. And then when we play it without thinking about it, that's when we got it. So when you see people playing, I've no idea what I just played, but I've also no idea which were the ups and the downs. But over years and years of practice, my brain kind of can start to move. When it knows it's going to play an accent, it starts to do an up naturally. That's what we're after, all right? We've got no questions? Too quiet tonight. Come on, guys, give me some questions. Definitely the way, yeah, awesome. Cool, yeah, so Paul's just said exactly that. So he's just agreed, yeah, doing the 7/8 bar, he's just done lots and lots of chunks, and now he's got it. And I think that the older you get, the more likely you are to sit and persevere with something, right? When you're young, I'll tell you why no one's on here tonight. I just realised it's because Fortnite's out, isn't it? The new Fortnite game's out. Do any of you guys play Fortnite? If you're watching now and you play Fortnite, I don't believe you. Tomorrow there's going to be loads of people bored of Fortnite coming and watching this. Fortnite and football. Okay, I don't know why that just came into my head. I think it's because we're talking about kids and my lads are on it. I'm not good at Fortnite. I've been told lots of times I'm a bot, which I now know is not a good thing. Okay, right. So let's start to round things up, and then we'll do the drum hang. So what we're talking about here, right? We're going to talk quickly schedule, right? So if you enjoy these lessons, you're getting something out of these. Please share them. Please tell other people about them, right? I'm more than happy to do these for 6 weeks. It's more fun the more people we get in, and it's easier for me to persuade big names, and I am going after some really big names to come on here and do some interviews for us. Now I've got someone who's already a huge name coming and doing a interview for us in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be on one of the Wednesday nights, but I want to get some others. And so the more people we have in here, the more I can say to them, look, I've got 50, 100, 200, 300 people watching these videos every week, 1,000 people, whatever. The easier it is, the more likely they are going to come on. So please share this. Saturday, we'll be doing something completely different. I've no idea what yet, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but we'll recap a little bit of what we've done today, and we'll look at something else. The YouTube, go check out the YouTube. And make sure, if you're watching this and you're not on the Marching Drummers Lounge, you're missing out, right? Get yourselves in there, because there's the notations in there, extra lessons in there, and there's lots of chat in there. I'm trying to slowly get more and more experienced DCI vets to go in there and start comment on things. So please get yourselves in there. Okay, right. Let's do a little bit of drumming then. Any other questions before we start to wrap up? You can ask anything, guys, as well. It can be about anything you want. It could be about marching, could be about drums, could be about stuff that's happened. So earlier, Jason said, "Did I march with Roger Carter?" So yeah, I marched with some really quite big name people actually. So I marched with Sean Vega, I marched with Roger Carter, and a lot of the guys who were on the staff there, Jim Casello, I think, was bass tech. Obviously, Scott Johnson, I was lucky, right? At the time when I went, there was a lot of people who've now come out and are making big dents in the activity. Roger was an awesome player. Roger actually got, I was going to say carpal tunnel, but that's the wrong one. Tendonitis, I think it was, in his hand halfway through the season. So he ended up having to play the least amount he could. So he actually taught himself to play this way around, weirdly. And he started playing that way around for a little while. And he was also, if you ever saw us on tour, he'd tap everything off left-handed. Just from his right hand, because it was right hand that was the bad one. Didn't have to play so much. Anyway, enough stories. So let's have a go at doing some exercises. So what I'm going to shout them out to you. Get your pads, join in. I'm going to go simple. I'm going to go harder and harder. I'm going to go about 15 minutes of what I would practice, or what I'm going to practice right now to get my hands going. So this is called the drum hang. Let's see what we can do. So we're going to start with 8 on a hand, all right? Just simple, just standard 8s. So just 7 and 8. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute about the drum pull, all right? Right, let's keep these 8s going. Right, let's go for 6s, so we have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go 3 8s, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many you think? 7. Faster. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8s. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do decrescendos. So getting quieter. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to slow down after this one. Slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking for different heights of every one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the opposite. Crescendo. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that last note is a downstroke to get us back into our set position. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 6 inches. So kind of right there. Right, let's speed up. Let's push the fingers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see if we can sit at that tempo. Faster. Last time. That's why I'm not saying it now. I can't say last time. Okay, awesome. No, right. So Kev's just said, are you teaching any lines at the moment? No, I'm not. No. So nothing to do with drum corps anymore at all. I'm in percussion theatre, which some of you guys might want to go and check out, which is a line of freestyle drummers, which leads me perfectly onto the other question about this drum. So in freestyle drumming, we do a lot more of the stuff, the stick tricks and all this kind of stuff. In fact, I was going to do some of that. I might do some in a minute. But we also play drum corps kind of stuff. Well, we've got these snares here, which are actually quite simply the tops, look, of old HTS Premier drums, which are pipe band drums. Now, there's some secret stuff on there I can't show you for too long, right, because we've added it, but it's just essentially a top of a HTS pipe band marching snare. It's a nice sound. We've changed a few things, like I said, to suit us, but the sound is this. It's hard to play on, harder than a normal snare, because the guts are written across the top here, pressing against the top head. So when you hit it, they kind of knock your stick a little bit, so you can't play as fast on these. But we wanted two reasons. One, because we wanted a little bit less volume, We do a lot of gigs indoor, and it's obviously a problem with the big marching snare drums. 2, because it kind of looked different, and we wanted it to look different. It's simple as that. We wanted to look completely different to what everyone else is doing. So we all use these drums at the moment. Would be considered longer drums, yeah, sometimes. And we do some gigs where we actually own some bigger drums as well, which we sometimes use. So percussion theatre, maybe go and check that out. Right, let's do some more. So that's 8 on a hand. Keep the questions coming in, guys. I like this. Right, accents, taps. Let's do the cadets one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So 4s. 3s. 2s. 1s. Lefts. 3s. 2s. 1s. Okay, we're going to stop. 6, 7, 8. I don't want a bit quick, so I'm going to slow it down. Here we go. 3s. 2s. 1s. Left hand. 3s. Oh, I screwed. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2s. 1, 2. Ah! Sorry, guys. And 1s. So this question about T put me off. Right, so we're going a bit faster, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's push it. 1, 2. See if you can hang. 1, 2, 3, 4. 'Kay, that point there, I then do some kind of hand-to-hand stuff, maybe a grid or something like that. We haven't done that yet, so we're not going to do that. Let's do some double strokes again. That exercise, so double beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3s. 'Kay, we'll do accents on the 3rd note. Do gat, do gat, do gat, do gat, do gat. 1. If you haven't done that before, just do a normal. So it's a whip, look. 3s. 'Bit faster. 'Let's do it as fast as we can. And that was too fast for me. Right, so that's the other thing we've done, hasn't it? Chicken and a roll. Okay, I'm going to do it on the drum. Left hand lead. Okay, left hand lead. Real slow but full turn. go fast then. Okay, and let's finish off then with our flams that we've done so far, which is the crown exercise. Anybody who hasn't seen it yet, it's up on the screen at the moment. All right, we'll throw in some rudiments into those gaps so you can shout them out. What I'm having for tea was your question. I know it's salad with pizza, which I think is an irony, isn't it? Like salad with pizza should just be salad, shouldn't it? Or you might as well just have pizza. But yeah, that's what it is. Okay, here we go. Do a shopping spree. Singles, yeah, singles. Yeah, okay. Anyway, right, we'll do this first, right? So Suggs mentioned the shopping spree, so we'll talk about what that is at the end of this, and we'll do a shopping spree for you, right? That's a great idea, Suggs. Awesome. Right, let's try the. Flam taps. Okay, 1 second, I'll count you back in. So anybody who's struggling with these, just try the simple one, alright? Don't worry about putting these in, just put in whatever you can, alright? We're going to do a roll. Same thing with singles, here we go. 1, 2. They're going to be fast paradiddles. So, right, we're going to have to have some ballers to get this. Let's try. Okay, what about hand-to-hand flams? So, cha-cha-cha-cha, like this. Okay, shopping spree. So what is a shopping spree then? Yeah, I like the idea of a shopping spree. So shopping spree, I've since learned actually recently, is very much a West Coast thing. So very much your Blue Devils, your Vanguard, and those kind of guys. VK started this back probably late 80s, early 90s. But what they would do is they would practice their core rudiments, the difficult rudiments, your cheeses, your flam drags, your one-handed flam drags, all that kind of stuff. But in a format where you could just add on and on and on and on. And that's what we're going to do right now. So we always start with 4 flam triplets like this. That's our check pattern. Then we put in a rudiment. So let's put flam drags in. Then we're going to put cheeses in. And then we're going to put cheese 5-strokes in. So that's 3. We'll do it slow so that people understand what's going on. Then we'll push the speed. So let's have some more then. Chuddichers maybe? Chuddicher. We'll add that one on. Let's go from that spot and let's do cheese chuddichers. So it'll be... So from the top to there, see who's hanging still. Okay, flam taps then. So that'll be in 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Let's add that to the end. And let's add on inverted flam taps to the end. This is just the inverts on their own. And we're going to start to work our speed, right? So that's the whole exercise, whole shopping spree, right? Now you could keep going on and on and on. And the idea is that when you get amongst kind of good drummers, or it doesn't matter good, but drummers of your same ability, you just call out rudiments and you just throw them on and on. And the shopping spree just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Let's try it. Right, I'm going to reef this now. Woo! So I'm struggling with cheese chuddichers. Okay, awesome, right. Good stuff, guys. Go away, try those ideas out. Get yourself into the group if you're not already in there. The lesson notes from today will be thrown in there. We're back again on Saturday, 2 p.m. I really could do with feedback, right? So if you get a chance, any of you guys who know me or don't know me, give us a little bit of feedback, what you like so far, what you don't like. It's really hard experience for me to gauge when I'm just staring into a camera over there. My only feedback is when people type things in. Obviously, when after this lesson, most people, it's the same with all live stuff, most people are going to watch this in the after show. So in other words, tomorrow, the next day after that. Help us by sharing this, right? It means a lot more to people if someone else gets something from this and you share it than if I go and say, check out my video. All right, as I said, the more people we get in here, the more I can help you, because the bigger the guys I can get from DCI and etc. to come in and do some stuff with this. I've got to test it out this week. I've got to test out some Skype and the software I'm running here. I don't really want to use Zoom because the quality is not as good, but so I can get this interview set up. I'd like our first interview to be maybe next week. If I can't do it, if we can't arrange it for next week, then it'll be the week after. But I'd like next Wednesday to be our first interview. Now we need to get a whole bunch of people in for that. If I can get some of these guys interested in doing interviews, then they're only going to help us, right? So yeah, so feedback would be awesome. Get yourself in the group, write what you'd like to learn, what you would not like to learn. Write, oh Geoff, you teach this too fast, you suck at this, or whatever you want to put in there. Keep it clean because we've got young kids in there. And yeah, so hopefully I'll see you on Saturday. So thanks for watching, thanks for checking in. Here's a schedule and I'll see you later.